So, dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. And be comfortable yourself and relax your body. So once we get connected with our other students, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully Enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes from the beginning to be very clear regarding this meditation and at the same time about this practice, how this will help for us to develop our clarity inside, and at the same time how it develop the path towards the liberation. So when it comes to meditation, in the very first point we have to remember there are people come with many reasons, but somehow this will help you to develop the clarity and get into the very bottom level of Dharma or the truth. And it will give you a very clear understanding about this life, how this life happened like this. Because generations to generations, this question keep coming, and people have many different opinions. regarding this. But at the same time, it is important for yourself to experience something and understand it through your own experience. So the Buddha's teaching, especially when it comes to meditation, it gives the opportunity for yourself to get into this deeper truth by yourself. It is not by just following the teachings, believing the teachings, worshipping the teachings. It is just by practicing little by little, little by little. So through this journey, one of the important things happens, the very first level, it reduces the power of the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So in the Buddha's teaching, there is no way it increased the power of the greed, hatred, or the delusion, especially when it comes to meditation. And that is one of the best result we gain. It reduced that power. Another thing is, it reduced the power of 5 hindrance. Kamachanda, so self-centered desires, vyapada, envy. Another thing is sloth and torpor, laziness, restlessness, and the doubt. So it reduced the strength of this 5 hindrance. But still, you have to remember the reducing the hindrance not allow us to attain to liberation. It gives the complete relaxation, comfort, and at the same time, it will develop the tranquility state. But still deeper, we have more other things to work. So for that, we have to develop kind of like spiritual faculties. That is the most important part. So today we are focusing to that. So mainly when it comes to meditation, there are 5 spiritual faculties. Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. That is directly focused to liberation. So that is the important thing. So the 5 hindrance directly focusing to the tranquility state. It tranquilizes the mind. But these 5 faculties of this spiritual practice directly focus to the wisdom. So as you know, there are 2 mental cultures, tranquility meditation and vipassana meditation. So tranquility meditation culture, mental culture, it developed the 1 point, so the tranquility state of the mind. So that is where the 5 hindrance reduce this power of the 5 hindrance. So when it comes to vipassana level of practice, it directly focus to the wisdom. So that is where these 5 spiritual faculties is important, go towards the liberation. So one of the first important thing, so when you don't have these 5 faculties, what happens? It always, you kind of like go out of the track. It's kind of like you are shakeable, not sure about the journey or even about you. Anytime you can derail, anytime you can flip into any side in the the spiritual practice. As you know, there are many, many teachings, there are many, many paths, there are many, many views regarding this spiritual practice. So when you don't develop these 5 faculties, what happens? Maybe today you practice one thing and tomorrow you go to another thing. And maybe then deeply you get tangled with a lot of unprofitable practice. So another thing is, so one of the thing, you become kind of like a faithless. You don't have deeply, fundamentally hold it to something as dharma. So in that way, out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, at any time, any unwholesome action can happen. Maybe for the moment we say, oh, I'm not going to do that, but I don't believe into anything. But the thing is, there are situations come, we lose this conventional level of confidence ourselves. So in that very moment, if you don't develop something to hold deeper in you, maybe you start to do something wrong. So faithlessness can shake us. And laziness also can always take us to many unwholesome actions. Laziness deeply takes us to make mistakes. Laziness takes us to do many other wrong things. Another one is this forgetfulness. Even regarding ourselves, regarding our own life and or our past, and at the same time, conventional level of qualities. So when we lose that, and it is very difficult for us to maintain a very comfortable life in this conventional level. So it's kind of like if we have this forgetfulness, we become like zombies. So even just imagine in the conventional level of life, gratitude, one thing, appreciation, responsibilities, that all depend on the wisdom that we carry regarding our life and regarding other people. So that knowledge is very necessary. And deeply, when it comes to our deeper understanding the cause and effect, causality. So if we don't have the clear understanding or the memory regarding this, how things come to be as they are, we lose the ability to understand how these things happen like this. Another one is this distractedness. We always get disturbed inside ourselves, even from the outside world, with our perception or from our own memory or anything. And when we get disturbed, the mind become kind of like always jumping here and there, like a monkey mind, and like a fish came out of the water. So like a baby elephant, like a goldfish in the fish tank, always do something. So this distractedness leads us to anger, hatred, jealousy, disappointment, unhappiness, anxiety, depression, this all. Another one is the ignorance. Not knowingly reasons and how things come to be as they are. And even in day-to-day life, about the ordinary things in our life. Sometimes people don't know how this happened, like this, how their life happened. They don't know even how their parents worked so hard, how their family members sacrificed and gave this comfort to them. And sometimes they don't understand about very simple things in their life, how it came to them like that. So the ignorance deeply always take us to the self-centered life or the mind, and it block us. It kind of like separate us from everything. We don't see anything. It make us blind. So those are the very negative side of this nature we carry always within us. So 5 spiritual faculties will help us to get out of this. And it will help us to develop unshakable mind in front of this negativity. So for that, you have to develop the faith, the first one. Faith, trust, conviction, another way called the Shraddha. So that's why you have to look into deeper teachings and see, because the faith come out of the clarity. When there's no clarity, it's kind of just like the blind faith. Then you always develop the fear. You trust something because of fear or maybe some other reasons. But when it comes to Dharma, when it comes to practice, this faith you always have to develop out of the light or the wisdom or out of the knowledge, out of knowing how this happens. So one of the important thing in that as a foundation, know yourself and even know about the Buddha or know the history of this Dharma, all these 2,600 years, how this came, and know little bit deeper, what is this? And that will make you more clear to have the trust regarding the practice. And that will hold you to practice. Otherwise, when the situations come, it flip. And maybe you go to something else. When the mind agitates with the emotions, maybe you go to other things. So this is not a kind of like you have to be here. It's kind of like, no, it's not like that. But you have to have some understanding, at least while you practice. Because without faith, if you try to develop the practice, you may gain some things, but some result, but it not take you deeper into transformation or the liberation. Or it's not going to take you to the final destination, which we call the wisdom. So that's why the very first thing you have to develop the faith out of the 5 spiritual faculties. So then day by day, while you practice even, it will help you to develop the faith. How? Because you know how this practice helps. Another thing is when the greed, hatred, and the delusion reduce, and that also help you to have the faith. So the second one is, so the faith become the antidote for faithlessness, unbelief. So then when you have the faith, you become unshakable in front of the faithlessness. When you have the faith, out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, the unwholesome action not going to happen. So it's kind of like you have a protection. So that is very necessary. So the second one is the energy. So it becomes the antidote for the laziness. So the laziness is kind of like an inbuilt cancer inside us. It's not the laziness kind of like that we talk in day-to-day life. This deeply with the each and every cell, it is in our blood. So this energy means that all the you develop it as a faculty, you develop it as an organ. And then the energy become part of the body. That's what happened when you develop it as an organ. It's like heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, it help. It's help to have this life experience because it's part of the body. So now if the energy become part of the body, it's 24/7, it is there for you. And the laziness not going to be there. Another thing is that we have energy. It's always we focus to the wrong direction. Each and every animal have some kind of energy. But look how they use it. Even we have the energy. See how we use both. To develop the greed, hatred, and the delusion. And when we get angry, mad, disappointed, to fight sometimes, we spend so much energy. We plan many years, sometimes get to revenge. And when we have the lust, look how much energy we spend for that to fulfill our inner desires. And we go behind it and we invest for that. We plan for that many years sometimes. And the ignorance the same. There's no end and there is no kind of like a limited capacity for the ignorance. So we have the energy, but here we slowly inject the wisdom to that energy and transform that energy to cultivate some kind of profitable things in us. So in that way, by the time when you multiply that energy, it never going to take you to laziness. So then how where this laziness rooted? So this is the thing. When you invest your energy to increase the greed, hatred, or the delusion, as a result, you gain the laziness. Go behind the greed, what will happen by the time? You get tired. And that get tired means the laziness start to activate. Hatred, laziness start to activate. Ignorance, laziness start to activate. So behind the greed, hatred, and the delusion, the laziness always there. So now you use the energy to increase the generosity, loving kindness, wisdom, and this all the wholesome actions. So, and as a result of that, what happens? You gain the more and more and more energy. So as example, if you do something good with the very simple example, like you do a generous action, you give a dana, you do something good, and then you feel so happy. That happiness, right away, sometimes it comes to your mind, oh, I want to do more, I want to do more, oh, next day, or next week, or let's do next year. So like that, that energy start to multiply. So like that, when you become energized with the profitable skills, it always going to take you to reduce the power of the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So that means it uplift all the wholesome actions. So remember, the laziness always there because we invest it for our greed, hatred, and the delusion. For the moment you become happy, but by the time laziness become more strong. So remember that. And the third one is mindfulness. So it is the antidote for the forgetfulness. So the forgetfulness is a kind of like a disease, inbuilt disease. And that forgetfulness make people unhappy, disappointed, sad, worry, disconnect. So the mindfulness, it always keep us connect to the moment, the environment, things, situations, so like that. So just imagine when the Buddha attained to the Buddhahood, he remembered everything. He remembered that all the previous lives, and there are like Jataka stories when in situations come, when something happened, and end of that discussion or the sutra, sometimes Buddha explained, oh, this is not only this time, previous life also, it should be, it happened to be like this, like, and it gave the connection. So this mindfulness, this memory means it gives the clear understanding how things came to be as they are. When we forget, we don't know. So just imagine this, even for sometimes children, they don't know how their dinner plate come to table. They don't know how the mother and father work so hard, early morning, every day. It doesn't matter winter or summer, they go out and maybe work so hard and earn something, and they sacrifice all their personal life and save something, and they spend everything for children, and sometimes children doesn't know how it come to them like that. Just imagine if they forget that every day, when they become a young adult, they don't know who their parents are. And sometimes when the children become young, when family situations come, when they get mad, sometimes when they fight each other, and sometimes they say, you didn't do anything for me. They say to parents, what you did to me, what you gave to me. See this, even in the very conventional level of this forgetfulness, even husband and wife sometimes, they spend many, many years. But when the situation comes, when they get fight, they ask, what you did to me? You didn't do anything to me. So that's how this forgetfulness is so strong, even in the conventional life. Even just imagine, no one like if we forget them. Remember that. No one like it. Everybody like if other people remember them or appreciate them. Like just imagine when someone died, we gather and we talk all the good things that what that other person did, and we share our memories. And and when it comes to the social medias, and sometimes it remind you whatever happened in the last year, the same day, maybe it pop up, memory, remind. And another thing is, there's a sharing button. When you see something, you share it. So this is kind of like a very fundamental nature of all of us. Everybody like this. So as human beings, the very first level you have to remember, path of the wisdom means you understand the very nature of the human life. You not go beyond that first. You first understand the very nature of this human life, the very basic quality of the human life. So for that, mindfulness is very necessary. But most of time, just imagine even ourselves, the forgetfulness is a kind of like an inbuilt quality. We forget very easily, like the most of the good things. And we hold it to all the unnecessary, unprofitable things. So practicing meditation, change that pattern and always develop the strength of this mindfulness. That's mean the memory. So that memory doesn't mean you memorize something. No, you consciously engage with the environment or the situation. That engagement gives the clarity about how it happened. So then there's nothing to memorize, because that your conscious engagement itself is the quality of the memory. So then moment by moment, when you interfere with the conscious attention, then itself, you know what it is. So another thing is, then the doubt disappears. You don't have any doubt about that event, because you knew how it happened. But today, what happens, even regarding our own life, we engage with the environment, we engage with situations, conversations, and sometimes later we forget what we said, what we did. And then we ask sometimes, did I say that? Did I do that? And maybe when the result come towards us, if it is a kind of like a negative result, sometimes we say, did I do that? Did I say that? So like, why? Because we didn't engage with very mindful, very clear mind. So that itself take us to unclarity. That's why in the samsaric journey, so whatever happened, and maybe when now the result coming, and then we don't know, it is our own action. We say, how it happened to me like this? And why me? Because we didn't know that what we done in the past, it is our own karma. So like that, the mindfulness give a very clear picture about our own life. There's nothing in between you. There's no the outside interference to your life. That all you experience is your own inner choice. You are the master of your life. You are the forerunner and you are the creator of your life. When you don't have the mindfulness, what happens? You always think your life happened because of somebody, somewhere, take decisions for you. Why? Because you forget you are the one who did that. And even around you, how other people behave. You forget how things happen in the past, and then when the result pop up, you don't want to accept it. And if it is a good thing, and then you think, oh, it's a good kind of like a luck. And then if it is bad, you think it is a bad karma. It's kind of like a punishment. There's no punishment like that. There's no kind of like a third party luck interfere to your life. No. It's all you. But it is very complicated when there is no clear mind. That's the thing. But if you are little by little become very clear with the mind, this everything untangle. It's everything become very clear. How your mind accumulate things, how your mind resists things. And then you recognize all this darkness and the light, this kind of like a behavior of your own mind. And the demon and angel is kind of like the behavior of your own mind. And the heaven and hell is kind of like the behavior of your own mind. And once you know that, you work with your own mind. But if you don't have it, what happens when the forgetfulness happens, you shake. Then you go here and there, you always depend on something. So that is what happens. And the fourth spiritual faculty is concentration. So this distractedness is always there within us, deeper inner distraction. Always we get disturbed. So that's why the concentration, little by little, you have to develop. You can do that. But our mind always used to go here and there, always keep following something. But the meditation, practicing meditation gives you ability to settle down not to get agitated within your own, this inside nature. So when the distractions happens, you don't shake if you have the concentration. So that's why when it comes to practice meditation, especially breathing meditation, which we call the anapanasati, concentration on inhalation and exhalation, and very clearly Buddha mentioned, keep your upper body straight, ujungkayam panidaya parimukang sating upattapettu. It's clearly mentioned. And bring your attention in front of your nose and your upper lip area and observe the sensation without going here and there, without trying to interfere with it. Just simply observe. And even when it comes to for foundation, about the body, contemplate on the body, the sensation or the feelings, the thoughts, the mind, the phenomena. So just spoke, observe without interference, without any judgment. Just recognize, see and recognize. So that this ability of concentration give you the clarity to understand. So that is the important part. And it is just by practicing yourself, you have to develop it. So then remember, today what happened, little by little, we lose as entire this humanity, we lose the ability of concentration. So when the human mind doesn't have the power of concentration, it's a kind of like a become zombie. So that is why we no need to go into that kind of future. So then it is your responsibility. It's kind of like a practicing this itself, you're kind of like a contributing something to your humanity to protect this, because without practicing these things, not going to happen. The danger is whatever any mental quality, if any one generation drop it, the next generation cannot catch it. It has to kind of like a link, and it has to kind of like a continuation. So if the parents don't practice something, the children themselves cannot find it. So that's why the culture, tradition, keep this all together, continue. Grandparents, parents, children, grandchildren, so like that, it go hand to hand. So from the ancient time, that's how it survived. So then it is our responsibility, rather than losing these qualities. And at least like this, we share it, and whenever we have time, practice it a little bit and experience a bit, because that is the only way to preserve this. And the fifth one is the wisdom. So one thing is, when it comes to spiritual faculties, the 5, one wisdom means, now you came already passing 4 qualities: faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration. So now already you know this, how 4 things work. So that itself is become the wisdom. That is one thing. Another thing is, when you come to complete, kind of like develop the faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration together, all these 4 things build up some kind of new awareness in you, understanding in you. So that also the wisdom, different wisdom. So it is, you can't take it just by thinking. You can't take it just by guessing. You can't take it kind of like a reading, because that wisdom come out of when you go with all these four qualities. If you develop these four qualities, there is something come to you. It's kind of like you kind of like a tuning to different vibration frequency. It's help you to go beyond the layers and understand something more deeper, and it will take you deeper to roots, to have the very clear clarity, the clarity about life, the mind, and whatever the things you experience. So with that, let's get into practice now a little bit. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Sopateva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. When it happens to the sensation, recognize it. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. Your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata sampadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjisami Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.